Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. Today I'm going to show you how to safely and properly remove pollen from your car's surface. So, case in point, this is my girlfriend's vehicle. It's been sitting outside in the elements. It's her daily driver. And so we are in the month of May currently, and it's pollen season here in Montreal, Canada. So, and where we live in a wooded area and lots of mature trees and flowers and all that good stuff. But that comes with the price of having a lot of pollen in the air. And as you can tell, all the surface of the vehicle is pretty much covered with that stuff. Now, it doesn't look to be very harmful, right, when you initially look at it, but those microparticles, when watched through a microscope, they actually have jagged edges and kind of spikes so they can grab onto things, and also they're acidic in nature, so when combined with water when it's raining outside, if left unattended, they can start to wreak havoc on your paintwork, leave some stains behind, and start to etch through the clear coat as well, and potentially leave permanent damage that only potentially machine polishing or water sanding can remove. So to avoid all that, I'm going to be giving you the easy method and the safest method to do so. By the way, I'm going to leave all the links to the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I said safely, right? But also easily. What we don't want before we wash the car with our microfiber wash mitt and our soapy solution in our buckets, that's the contact wash, we want to remove as much of it as possible beforehand, because those microparticles of pollen are actually abrasive on the surface. And if you were to scrub them while washing, well, obviously you're going to induce some marring and scratching on your paint. So the solution to that is to use a safe and effective pre-wash, but not a traditional one with a pH neutral snow foam, as you perhaps typically would, but with a higher alkaline version. So let me show you two that I often use for this purpose, and they also have the advantage to help to start to break down road film and traffic film and other grime as well, even bug guts on your vehicle. So the one we're using today will be Koshemi Active Foam. This has a pH of 9.5, so it's a higher alkaline pH, right, compared to pH neutral, which is closer to 7. And the other one, which I really like, the updated Primus 2.0 version. This is an alkaline foam pre-wash by Labo Cosmetica. So well, actually two European brands, because Labo Cosmetica is from Italy and Koshemi is from Germany. Quick disclaimer, by the way, this is not a sponsored video. This is just me showing you the tips and tricks, the pro tips and tricks to get the job done. So we're going to blanket the entire vehicle with the snow foam. So there's many ways to wash cars, right? Typically, some like to pre-rinse first, then foam, then rinse, then foam again, then wash. In this case, though, we're going to foam on a dry surface. Why? We want the foam to actually cling onto the surface, no further dilution, and that way it's going to start to break down, emulsify, encapsulate all the particles of pollen so we can safely rinse those off the vehicle. And then we're going to proceed and go ahead with the contact wash. But because of the effective pre-wash, we're going to have removed probably 95% of the airborne contaminants, meaning pollen in this case, right? So for the Koshemi, the recommended dilution is from Koshemi themselves, 1 to 10. You can always follow the dilution recommendations on the label and readjust according to your setup as well, right? So in the MJJC Foam Cannon S version 3.0, I love this because it not only bang for buck, it's one of the good ones, but it produces some of the best foam. So it's a 1 liter container. So for a 1 to 10 dilution, we're adding 90 to 91 milliliters of product and 900 milliliters of water, or in ounces, 3 ounces of the Koshemi Active Foam and 30 ounces of water. I like to use warm water in the foam cannon, especially in this scenario. I find it helps to break down and emulsify all of that. So we're going to jump right into the demo, and you're going to see the difference, the before and after, just with a safe and effective pre-wash. By the way, if you see that you have a lot of stubborn stains, including water spots that are on the surface with a lot of that pollen that has caked through, you want to start with a pre-spray, and you would do a 50-50 mix of white vinegar, so plain 5% white vinegar that you have at home, and 50% water. So mix that up. You would spray that on the surface, let that dwell a few minutes there. Obviously, never work in direct sunlight with these products, guys. It's very important. Always work in the shade on a cool surface, and don't let these products dry on the surface. That's not only for the best user experience, but also so you don't get any streaking, and let the product dwell properly without letting it dry. So if it's very caked on and you have tons of that pollen and it was raining and all that stuff and it created this mess, start with the pre-treat. So again, 50-50 mix of just white distilled vinegar and water, pre-spray, and then wait. You would rinse, or either you can still keep it dry if you want to, no problem. And you would spray your snow foam solution on there, and you're going to let that dwell a few minutes. In the case of Koshemi, they recommend 3 to 5 minutes of dwell time. And then we're going to pressure rinse that off. So no contact, right? It's only water and the chemicals doing the work for you, kind of like the principle for the bug removal. So I have a tutorial on that already on the channel. If it hasn't been posted yet, you're going to see it soon. But the safe and effective way to do that without any contact or any abrasion, because we want to preserve the products that are on there, especially the protection, right? You don't want to braid that off. And that's another quick pro tip, by the way. So 2 major tips to help make the cleaning of pollen a lot easier. Make sure you have protection on your paint, whether it's a wax, a paint sealant, or a ceramic coating. Having paint protection makes everything stick less to the surface and much easier to clean off during your maintenance washes. And during pollen season, wash your car more often. That's another pro tip. So if you wash your car once a month, perhaps consider once a week. The more regular your wash regimen, the less of it will accumulate and the less time you'll have for it to do damage. Because again, don't forget that pollen, when it sits on top, if it rains also, mixing with the water becomes acidic. The water evaporates, leaves minerals and that acidic stuff to start to etch through the clear coat, and that leaves permanent stains if unattended. So wash your car more frequently. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo with the active snow foam. We're going to blanket the entire thing, rinse it, and observe the results. All right, so we have our foam cannon connected. Again, a 1:10 dilution ratio in there of the Koshemi active foam, or whatever higher alkaline snow foam you want. This one I like, and the Labo Cosmetica, because they will not damage the ceramic coated vehicle behind us. So ceramic coatings have a very high resistance on the pH scale to chemicals, so this is absolutely fine to use. So let's go ahead and blanket. All right, 1646, we're going to leave it to dwell for 5 minutes. And by the way, the advantage of the Koshemi Active Foam, it's kind of a blend of their gentle snow foam, so pH neutral, but with a bit of Green Star added in there. Green Star is their all-purpose cleaner, higher on the pH scale, so the Active Foam is kind of a mix of that. So it really helps to break all that dirt, grime, even a bit of the bug guts if you have bug guts, if it's love bug season, or you went on a road trip, whatnot. And of course, in this case, the pollen. So we're going to come back, rinse that off, and we're going to look at the final results before the contact wash. All right, guys, so it's been more or less 3 to 5 minutes. Always follow the instructions for the dwell time. And now we are going to rinse and have a look at the results. So before I bring you in closer, a good indicator that we did an effective pre-wash before the contact wash is when we see restored hydrophobic properties. Sometimes you still need the contact wash to restore them, but especially in the lower parts. This is a ceramic coated vehicle, I remind you. And instead of the water being flat, we see water beating and the sheeting is starting to be restored. And again, this is just after the pre-wash. So imagine how good it will be after the contact wash. But let's have a look at the water behavior right now. So as we can see, top to bottom, we're still getting water beating, great water sheeting, good hydrophobic properties, and this is before the contact wash. So there is no more pollen left on here, and that is good. So there's just a bit of surface dirt perhaps left. It's like 85% to 90% clean. So indicator of a good, effective pre-wash. So same thing on the hood. Let's have a look at the hydrophobic properties. And there we go. We get water beating. We're still getting sheeting. And this, again, is just after the pre-wash. So the glass, the same thing now. All the sides of the vehicle, everything that had pollen on it, including, if you guys remember, the roof. That's it for the pollen. All that is left, a bit of surface dust. The headlights and taillights cleared up quite a bit because all that pollen dust, pollen. So yeah, all of that is gone, and all that is left now is the contact wash. So there you have it, guys. Just an effective pre-wash with the proper tools and products. In this case, just a foam cannon. If you don't have a foam cannon, you can use a foam gun that you can attach to a garden hose. You're not going to get the same level of foam as a pressure washer and foam cannon setup, but could still get the job done. I'll have a video, by the way, on my channel that's already available comparing foam guns with a garden hose to a foam cannon with a pressure washer if you're curious to see what kind of foam output you get. Or you can use a foaming pump sprayer if that's all you have. That's fine as well. Same dilution ratio is 1:10 for the Koshemi Active Foam. So all we did here, as you saw, on a dry surface, we blanketed the entire vehicle with that snow foam. We let it dwell 3 to 5 minutes. Don't work in direct sunlight, so in the shade on a cool surface. And of course, underneath we did have some protection, a ceramic coating in this case. It's the Adams Advanced Graphene Ceramic Coating, which was applied in October of 2021. I have many follow-ups on this channel because we've been following it through the years to see its performance. It's still there. It's still going strong. Pretty good stuff. But yeah, the main focus was to remove the pollen. So in this case, just the pre-wash itself. If you do it properly and then you rinse down, all of that stuff is gone. Surface is already pretty clean, and it means that it's also ready now for the contact wash. You've seen me do that 1,000 times wash cars on this channel, so I'm not going to bother you with that. But yeah, all that's left now is just a simple contact wash. You can use at this point just a pH neutral car shampoo, and that's it. You're good to go. So no problems. And as you saw, this was a contactless pre-wash. So no scrubbing, no rubbing, meaning that those pollen particles, which are jagged edges or have a lot of spikes if you view them through a microscope, well, they can't damage the paint because all we used is chemicals and pressure from the water. By the way, if you're washing cars with a pressure washer, stay between 1,000 to 2,000 PSI. I set my pressure washer to 1,000 PSI. 2.1 gallons per minute of water output for better cleaning units. But yeah, as long as you stay there, there's no problems. So you don't have to do any of the hard lifting. You let the chemicals and the water do its thing. You don't break a sweat, and you enjoy, because outside it's super hot and super humid already here in Montreal. It seems that we have 2 seasons only in Montreal, Canada. So winter and then directly into crazy summer. It's weird. We didn't have much of a spring so far, but nonetheless, bugs and pollen are out there. And now you know how to safely and properly do it. I'll leave links to the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video. If you have another method that you want to share with my viewers, regardless if you're a professional detailer or a weekend warrior, go ahead, drop a comment in the comment section. I always like to read you guys, and if you have questions, ask them too. I'll try and reply and help you out along the way. Thanks for being there. Thanks for watching. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.